Hi everybody, Tara Whitney here from Whitney Consulting. We write grants, tenders and business cases, and you can find more about our services on our website www.whitneyconsulting.com.au. That's Whitney, Whitney. Now today I wanted to run through with you a question that I've been asked a lot lately and how I help people to determine the answer. So the question is, can I get a grant? Now, I often get phone calls with people saying, I've been told I can get a grant, I should be applying, can I get a grant? I always run them through the same few questions. So the first question is, what kind of an entity are you? What kind of an organisation? Grants aren't for individual people, they are for either a business, a company, a sole trader would be fine, but a business, a legal entity, or a not-for-profit organisation, a charity, or government, so a local government, a state government. So you have to be an organisation. So first question is, what kind of an organisation are you? Where are you located? So we can have a look and see which grants you might be eligible for. The second question I ask when someone says, can they get a grant, is what is it exactly you're going to spend the grant funding on? So what is your project? Grant funding is for projects. So it's for something that has a beginning, an end, and an outcome. It has benefits. So you don't get grant funding if you have, for example, a not-for-profit organisation and you just want funding to help you run your organisation, just the daily running costs. You're not doing anything in particular, you're not doing a particular program or project. It's got to be a project. So the second question is, what is it you want to spend the grant funding on? So these are the things you need to consider when somebody says to you, oh, you could get a grant. You need to think, well, what kind of an organisation am I? Am I an organisation? And secondly, what is it I'm doing? What is my project? What are the outcomes of the project? When you look at those outcomes and the benefits of your project, so what is going to happen when you do the project, all the good things that are going to happen, that's when you can determine whether or not you're going to be able to get a grant, because you can then look at it and go, right, these are the benefits my project's going to deliver. Who's going to pay for that? Who would pay for those kind of benefits? And that's the crux of it. So you've got to consider the funding body. Is there a funding body that is going to pay for these benefits? So if the benefits are purely to you, if it's purely just a financial revenue coming into you and you alone, no one is going to pay for that. That is something that you're going to have to get a loan and take that risk and go out and do that project on your own. If, however, the benefits are that your business is going to get a whole bunch more revenue, and because of that, you're going to have to hire a lot of people, you're going to have to use a lot of other suppliers within your area, and therefore bring in and be spending a lot of money around the economy and hiring people, creating jobs, then you can see that someone's going to want to pay for that. A government is going to want to pay for that. So that's where you decide whether or not you can get a grant. If you can find somebody that is going to be willing to pay for the outcomes, the benefits of your project, then yes, you can get a grant. And then the next step for us is we start to look at our grants database and find which grant might be suitable for you. So that's something that we do, which is a free service. So somebody will call me, they'll say, can I get a grant? I talk them through those questions, determine what their project is and what the benefits are. Then I'll go and look at our grants database. I say it's actually Alex or Crystal, the wonderful people that will go and look at our grants database, and they manage that. They go and do a big search and come up with a report, and we send you a report which says, here are a list of grants that might be suitable for you, your organisation and your project. Take a look at these and see whether or not you would like to apply. As I said, that's a free service that we do for people. So if you do have a project that you think has benefits that someone will pay for, then let us know and we'll go and search our grants database and send you a report. You can contact me and get that all done by the website, as I said, www.whitneyconsulting.com.au. Otherwise, it's tara@whitneyconsulting.com.au. All right, thanks, guys. See you later.